Meanwhile, speaking of doing the right thing, I saw this chart about masks. Before we play it, let's play this clip from Matt's hometown, right? Fargo? Oh, no, wait, you're not from Fargo, right, Matt?
That's where I went to college.
Okay. Did you ever run into any of the city councilors there?
I did not know.
Well, this is the Fargo City Councilman, Dave Pipecorn. Is that how we pronounce his name? Pipecorn.
Yep.
He is the deputy mayor and city commissioner of Fargo. This is a meeting about the idea. And as you know, Matt, when you had that Sturgis bike rally, was that in South Dakota or North Dakota?
That's South Dakota.
That thing, everybody knew it was going to be a super spreader. Everybody was saying it in the run up. And they have that, the governor there, Rome, is that her name?
Yep.
They knew it was going to be a super spreader event. Nobody cared. And now you've got it. You've got the Dakotas. You've got Minnesota, Wisconsin. I mean, there's no way to really totally track this, but they believe that it may have spread it like in all parts of the country around the Midwest. And so here is, so they're starting to talk about mandatory masks. Here is the city councilman, and this is why he's not going to. This is, I mean, just we are 7 months into this now. This is just amazing to me.
It's not fear. And the facts are, I'm just as protected as you are wearing that mask of COVID-19. COVID-19 passes right through that mask. Isn't that correct?
No, it isn't.
No. It is absolutely.
Okay, enough public comment.
So, Mr. Chair,
Commissioner will learn not to ask rhetorical questions to the crowd.
I apologize, but basically, a virus it goes right through the mask, and so for us to start mandating something that doesn't work, that doesn't make sense. And as far as the people, okay, here's how it goes. Once again, if you behave yourselves, you can stay in the room. You're welcome to, but if you don't, you're going to be asked to leave. And if you don't leave, then the police will escort you out. Is that clear?
Let's just restore order.
All right.
Let's go ahead and make your comments, please.
The masks are not effective with the virus, period. That's proven. The coronavirus passes through. And so it's false to tell people that they're going to be safe by wearing that. And as far as sitting 6 feet apart, it's liberty. If you don't want to sit next to each other, then you don't have to. You can go someplace else or watch it on TV or on the internet. So thank you very much.
Commissioner Gary.
Yeah, no one's going to convince anyone of anything at this point. You know, there's some people who believe it's certain, facts and numbers, and the other side can bring up facts and numbers too. So I'm not even going to try to attempt to ask that rhetorical question. What I want everyone to consider is the enforcement.
So that guy was going like, well, we can never really know what the actual truth is about these things. So let's just talk about how hard it would be to enforce. So we shouldn't do this. As opposed to the idea of like, well, even if you're not arresting people for not wearing masks, it might be a good idea to just say that you should, and that we're going to make it mandatory. That signals it is completely uncontroversial to say that when mask wearing is made mandatory in municipalities, states, or whatever it is, that compliance goes up, even if you're not actually sending out squads of people to make sure that people comply. But just to be clear, do masks prevent the spread of COVID? We know the CDC has said, in the case of Arizona, yes, it dramatically reduced the amount of transmission once mask usage was adopted. When you're wearing, there's two different types of masks, essentially, for the sake of this conversation. One is an N95 mask. If it's around you tightly like this, it will protect you from COVID. You could still theoretically get it in your eyes. If you wear a shield, you're very protected. As long as you're wearing that, you could be exposed to it and still not get it, because you wouldn't breathe it in. If you're wearing a cloth mask, you have still less of a chance than getting it if you're wearing nothing, but it is not as a complete barrier as an N95 mask, because an N95 mask is designed to make sure that no particle over whatever it is, 95, I know it's not microns. Is it microns? I don't know. Can't get in. But a cloth mask, it is possible for it to get in. But the cloth mask also, if everybody's wearing one, prevents it from being spread out into the air as effectively as if you had no mask on. And that is why, look at this map here. This was posted by Tom Frieden. This is data from the Delphi COVIDcast, the covidcast.cmu.edu. I'm not sure what university this is, but it is a percentage of masks in public most or all the time on October 7th. It's a map of the United States. And the darker the color is on the map, the shade of blue-green, I don't know what you call that, a chartreuse, the ocean blue or something. The darker the color is, the more masks are being worn. And then turn your eyes to the image to the right of it, and percent of who know someone is sick. And it is exactly the opposite. In areas where masks are ubiquitous, you are seeing a much less density of people who have COVID right now. That's just the fact. I mean, it really is amazing when you look at this. Like, it is almost the inverse. It's all in orange and red and sort of burnt sienna, I guess. And the darkness is completely the opposite of how light it is on the mask wearing. It's there it is. I mean, it's really rather indisputable. What's going on in Dakota, Matt?
Just unbroken Republican power of basically North and South Dakota legislatures.
Fair enough.